Hey everybody, let me get this set up, make sure that I can see what's going on here. Let's see here. There we go. All right, I've got everything set up. Seeing comments. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Mid-Missouri. And if you're watching with me tonight, I am showing you how to make the 4 cards that I shared this week with my Card Lab Weekly. So Card Lab Weekly is a free kit that you can get for the week if you purchase $50 in my online store. And that $50 is after rewards and before shipping and handling. So I've got 4 cards. You'll get 5 in the kit. One of them I shared Sunday night. The rest of them I am going to share tonight. So if you're on tonight, give me a shout out. Let me know you're here watching. Otherwise, we're going to get to it. So this is a reminder. This is the card that we shared on Sunday night. So it's just a little tri-panel fun fold. And so it opens up like that. It folds very easily. You flip it over and it's got a place for your sentiment. So that one I did Sunday night. It's over there on YouTube. So the supplies that you'll need for this week's kit is you'll need a couple of inks. So you'll need Secret Sea. You will need Mossy Meadow. You'll need Old Olive, Cherry Cobbler, and then I have a cloud cover. Now, obviously, this is the cloud cover that most people have. So I have a stamp pad because I nabbed it before they pulled it off. But most people have an uninked ink spot, and then you use the, well, this is Old Olives, but you use the cloud cover re-inker, and that will give you cloud cover. So these are the 5 inks you'll need. You'll also need Versamark, and you'll need gold metallic. But that should be the only inks that you'll need. You'll need 1 ribbon, and the ribbon I used was the gold stripe. I think this is lovely with everything, and it looks like I'm almost out, so I'll need to reorder one of these. So this is the ink that you'll need, and then the 2 embellishments that I used the traditional sparkle sequins. However, these are unavailable right now, I think. I didn't check the status report before I came on. So I used a lot of the flower accents because they're gold, and they worked out really well. So we're going to get to this week's cards. If you've got any questions, if anything pops up, don't hesitate to just ask. So the first card that I'm going to do is Tuesday's card. So this is what it looks like. So just a Merry Christmas. Super easy. So this is how your kit will look when you get it. So I do the dry embossing. Now these die cuts I won't do for you because they will be part of the 2 sets that I didn't tell you that you needed. You need the traditional labels set bundle, and you'll need the Christmas Greenery bundle. So anything that's not part of these, I go ahead and do ahead for you. So this part you'll have to cut out. The cardstock will be there, so I won't have that cut out. But everything else is here. So let's get to Stampin'. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out our Secret Sea. We're going to do a couple of different stamps with that. I'm going to pull out the large poinsettia from the Christmas Greenery and throw that on a block. Oops. And it's really close. There we go. Now it fits. All right, so this is a little bit of 2-step stamping. Let's double check and make sure my cardstock. It is not. Let me pull out another piece of basic white. All right. So we're going to pull out our basic white. And I'm going to ink this. And actually, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do ink to stamp. So there's always a couple of different ways you can do things. I don't feel like there's any right or any wrong way of doing things. As long as it works for you, it's perfect. But I'm going to do ink to stamp on this large stamp with the Secret C. Then we're going to take our Season's Greetings, and that's going to be from the traditional labels dies. We're going to ink that up. I'm just kind of letting that dry a little bit. Now, it's weird because to me this looks different depending on which way you turn it, but it's not. It's exactly symmetrical, but for some reason I feel better stamping it some ways. So there's a natural curve to this stamp. So I'm just going to give that a nice ink up, set that to the side, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add Merry Christmas to the inside panel. So this by far has been my favorite 2 stamps this season. I use this on almost every Christmas card, whether it's on the inside or whether it's on the outside. I like the words of the season. Those have some really great sentiments. Janet, hey, I do love this set too. Thank you. Okay, so there's that. But I do like this font, this great big font. So we're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to do a little 2-step stamping on this set. So I'm going to pull out the poinsettia. We're going to block that up. I'm going to pull out this little pine, because we're going to use that. And I'll be honest, this is a set that I've had for a long time that I really didn't play with that much. I did, you know, kind of the basic stuff with it, but it really is beautiful. We're going to do the big flower, and then we're going to do the half flower. Okay, so there we go. Now let's do Cherry Cobbler. So that's going to be for our poinsettia. So before I ink this up, I'm going to turn this and try to find how it's going to go. And it looks like it goes right like that. So I'm going to ink this up as good as possible. And then I'm going to give it a nice little stamp there. So there's our poinsettia. Now we could always make these red as well, but I like them in the cloud cover. So I'm going to pull out that cloud cover, and I'm going to first do this one. We need to turn it around, see which direction we're going to go. I think that's it. So if you're new to stamping, 2-step stamping is exactly how it sounds. You stamp in 2 different segments. So oftentimes it fills in your flowers. Okay. And now we've got this guy. Now, when I'm 2-step stamping, I usually move my paper around. So I'm just inking that up with that cloud cover. Now you'll get the same look by using the ink spot. That's going to be the same. Okay. Now we are going to take our Old Olive, and I like Old Olive for the smaller leaves. So you just ink it up, move it around. I twirl my paper as I'm working versus twirling my stamp. But once again, everybody does it differently. You'll find your groove. Here we go. All right. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and close out that Old Olive. We're going to do a little bit of Mossy Meadow to kind of fill in around the pine needles. Okay, so that's all there is to the stamping on this card. Now I'm going to pull out my mini cut and emboss. And actually I'm going to cut this paper real quick, because that's not going to fit into my mini cut and emboss. So I'm going to cut this, throw it in my stack, and use it for later, because there's a lot of good paper there. Okay. Now, my mini cut and emboss, the plates have seen better days, let me tell you. And I refuse to buy any new ones because I know that I have a new set around here somewhere. I just gotta find it. I'm sure I put it in one of many safe places. Okay, so here we go. I'm putting this in the camera so you guys can see this. So what I'm doing is I'm moving this around so that it fits perfect. Now, with the mini cut and emboss, I don't normally tape anything down because once you put the plate on there, you can hold your thumb right on top and that should keep it in place while you're doing your cutting. And I think this may be the only thing we have to cut tonight. I think everything I have ready, else I have ready. There we go. So there's that. Now we're ready to put card number 1 together. So I'm going to take that embossed panel. So this is embossed with the Jolly Holly embossing folder. And that will be embossed in your kit already. So I'm layering that up on a Secret C. And I love to put color on color sometimes. Now, these are the exact same. It's just I used one side and then the other. So once you get your kits, you can decide that you may want the plaid to be the larger piece. I do like the poinsettia piece. I think it's really beautiful. Let's see here. And we're going to line that up as straight as possible. Okay. Now I'm going to use my seal. We're going to pull this over here. And there we go. All right. Well, maybe a little crooked, but it'll be okay. The thing about cards, handmade cards, is they don't have to be perfect. 9 times out of 10, the person you're sending it to is not going to see the imperfections that you may see. They're just going to love that you took the time to create that greeting card for you. Okay. I'm going to lay that right about there. And then I'm going to take my sentiment and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to kind of cover up a lot of that poinsettia. So when I'm doing something like this, I normally put my dimensional right on the card base versus putting it on here because I'm going to add some seal here. We're not going to layer it up 2 times. So it's already dimensionalized there, if that's a word. So there we go. So now that's sticking to the flower and then we've got that little bit of pop up here. Excuse me. Now I have a couple of holly leaves. Those I've cut from the Christmas Greenery. So now remember, in your kits, these will not be cut up. So you'll have to die cut these out yourself. Now I'm going to take my tweezers, because anytime I'm using liquid adhesive and sticking things around, I try to use my tweezers so I don't get liquid adhesive all over my fingers, because that happens to me a lot. Liquid adhesive and I are not really good friends. Okay. So once again, this is free with a $50 purchase. You'll get 5 of these card kits, 5 different card kits sent to you in the mail as a thank you from me. You have until Saturday. No, sorry. You have until tomorrow. And then Saturday will be next week's kit. All right, here we are. So there we have that. Now, I only cut part of this long pine bough. Like, this is huge. And I don't want all of that. I only want just a little bit to peek out. So I'm going to take my scissors and do a little trimming of the pine bough. Okay. Throw that. I might be able to use that later. Let's see if I trimmed off enough. Nope, I need to trim off just a little bit more. Just a scooch. See, I really didn't use very much of it at all. Just enough to peek out from under this and give that blue a little something to pop. Something a little to pop off that blue. Okay, let's put this out of the way. And then we will add our inside. And so this is Tuesday's card. We'll put our embellishments on there once I get it open. Come on. It's because I have this other one on my finger. All right, here we go. Here we are. Just a real simple greeting on the inside. So it looks like I used the red from the sequins. We're going to go ahead and just use these gold foil accents just because they're currently available, and that's what you could get if you don't already have the traditions. And I think the gold looks beautiful up against that Secret Sea. Okay, so here's Tuesday's card. That's kit number 1 you'll get. All right, let's go on to kit number 2. All right, so this is the card that I presented on Wednesday. Just a super simple. This is one that can be created just tons and tons and tons. So let me pull out the kit stuff. Now I will tell you, okay, so here's the inside. And on the inside of this one, we had 'Tis the Season. And we stamped that in Mossy Meadow. So I'll pull that out there. And let's throw 'Tis the Season on a block here. Okay, so I've got that stuck on there. So I've just got a small panel of basic white that we're going to ink up 'Tis the Season. I'm going to move this out because I don't want it to be all messy and crooked. Okay. So there's that. That's the only stamping that you're going to do, that I'm going to do tonight on this card. So I'm going to layer this up with an old olive matte. That'll be part of the kit. And this one is going to go on the inside. We have an dry embossed panel of basic white. This is embossed with the, oh crumb, I don't have the name of it. Well, it's a hybrid embossing folder. It'll be on the list of supplies if you want to recreate, but it'll already be embossed for you, so you don't have to have that embossing folder. So dry embossed, and then we're going to throw it on the front of our Mossy Meadow mat. And we may do it a little differently. Let's jazz things up a little bit. What do you say? Okay, so I'm adding some dimensionals because this is kind of a smaller panel for the front. So I like to give these just a little bit of pop. Okay, here we go. Let's sit it right there. And look at all of that. It's now going this direction, whereas I had it going this way. We're going to put it this way this time. All right, so this is a piece from the traditional label, so this will not come to you cut. You'll cut this on your own. And then the Merry Christmas I stamped in Versamark and then heat embossed it with the gold Wow embossing powders. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of seal. I'm just going to roll it on there. We're going to pull out that gold striped ribbon. And let's just hang a little bit off. I usually use my finger as a guide to where I want that loop to go. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put it right there and loop-de-loop. And so now it's stuck where it's supposed to be. And then we're going to give it a little trim here. And it'll go right here on the front of the card. So let's add some embellishments. So this is a super easy basic card. You can make a gazillion of these really quick. And as we're getting kind of to crunch time, because Thanksgiving is so late this year, your Christmas cards probably need to be in the mail in the next 2 or 3 weeks. For sure. 3 weeks. Okay, so there's that. Oh, crumb. I put this the wrong way. We're going to have to peel this back up. Or restamp that. We'll just peel that up. And we'll put that right back down there. I wasn't thinking. Yes, the gold accents are beautiful on this one. I agree. All right, so you'll open this up. And we are going to use the gold from the traditional sequins, because I do like this gold too. So let's put a big one right about there. We'll do a couple of little ones. And then a medium one right next to it. I think that's all we're going to do. I think I had quite a few more on this one. But it looks good with 3 as well. All right, so this is card number 3. Oh, and I see that I put it on basic white. So, I don't know. I might send you Mossy Meadow. I might send you basic white. I kind of like the Mossy Meadow versus the basic white. So, all right, card number 3. 2 tonight, 3 for the week. Okay, now this is the card I presented today on my blog. And I absolutely love this because this is just letting that Traditions of Christmas paper work for itself. It's super, super pretty. This is a stunning set. Okay, so now we have 'Tis the Season and the Merry Christmas. So let's pull out our basic white that goes on the inside. We'll pull out our Secret Sea ink, because that's what we're going to need next. And I'm going to take that and ink that Christmas up again. Now, we could always put it on the same block and just stamp it one time. But I like doing the 2, you know. Let me wipe this off now, because we had some green on there. All right. Now, make sure that's good and clean. We're going to ink this up. So this little sentiment strip came from, I die cut that from the textured notes. That'll be cut for you, since it's not part of the bundle that we're using this week. So I'll have that already cut. Now, now that we've got our stamping done, let's start layering this up. So we'll start out with this little piece. So I die cut the designer series paper, the Traditions of Christmas designer series paper. I cut that with the textured notes, and I'm just going to add that to an old olive matte. Then I'm going to take a strip of the designer series paper and show this fun plaid and put it up against the polka dots. I swear I could have done with like 10 sheets of the polka dots. Okay, now we'll layer that up with our old olive matte for our card front, and then we'll be ready to build our card. So this one's another super simple one. It does take some time to get all the cutting done, but you could always cut all of that out and then assembly line it. Okay, so I'm just giving that nice little 1/8 of an inch mark there. Then we're going to go ahead and take our designer series paper layers and add a couple of dimensionals. Maybe. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to whirl this around and see. I actually kind of like the 2 poinsettias a little better up at the top. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing. Well, not exactly the same thing. This time I'm going to cut the dimensionals off here, and I'm going to put them directly on this one, but that's because so much of it is hanging off. Make sure I have the right end. Yes, I've got the 'Tis the Season, and then we'll put seal there. And once again, that's because this is already popped up. Now, if that was flush, you could do this all the way across. There we go. And let's use the gold embellishments this time. I want a little guy. Right there. And then let's do one of the large ones, and then a little one. So I think this gold really pops on these rich colors from this set. Oops. Now we'll put that on the inside, and we'll be done with card number 3. All right. So there's card number 3. Now, here is a sneak peek of tomorrow's card. So this is another fun fold because I love, love, love fun folds. And so I can't resist giving you guys 2 in a week. So this is just a simple gate card. Very simple, very elegant with those beautiful rich colors. Oh, I do have more die cutting. I lied when I told you I was done with it. All right, we're going to go ahead and put our card together first and then do our stamping and die cutting last. So here's all of the paper. I'm going to stick that out there. Okay, let's do our Secret C stamping that goes on the inside. So once again, Merry and Christmas. Beautiful fonts. Now, if you're a beginning stamper, this is pretty simple and you don't need a lot. The Secret C is really like the main thing that you need. You could get by with one green, whether it be Old Olive or Mossy Meadow, and then Cherry Cobbler. And you could always stamp the embossed panel with Secret C as well. Okay. Now, this will be folded for you. So it's just a nice little gate fold. So we're going to adhere this right there on that side. And the directions come with step-by-step PDF. It's got the dimensions so that if you want to make more of these, you certainly can. So all of it will be provided. Now we have another little strip of the Designer Series paper. So once again, this is where we're using the front and the back, kind of like we did on Thursday's card. So there's that. We've got this. We're putting this on the other side. And then we have a little strip, one more strip that goes on the card front. See what I mean? I love these polka dots. Okay. Now, this is a piece of 1 1/4 by 11. This is our belly band. And how I do a belly band is I line it up on my grid paper, and then I line my card up on the grid paper so that I know that we're straight and we're straight. And I keep flippy flopping it. So I'm going to fold in, and I'm going to fold in again, and I'm going to do my best to not make it super tight, but we do want it flush on the top and the bottom. We don't want it super tight because you do have to have an area to bring that in and out, in and out. So here we go. I'm going to fold it in, and it's kind of loosey-goosey a little bit. Now, you see this, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of ugly. but it's not once you cover it up with designer series paper. So I've got another little strip of designer series paper that coordinates with the Secret C. All right. I have a piece of Secret C that I cut with the Stylish Shape dies, and so that'll be cut for you in your kit. It will also punch this out, but I love to show how we're going to do that. So this is just layering it up again. And that fits right on in there. And then I'm going to set my seal right on there. And we're ready for our middle. And I feel like that's pretty straight. Okay, now let's do our stamping. I don't know if I have another block that'll work. I may have to clean some stuff off. Yeah, that's not going to be big enough. Let's pull this off. And we'll throw that back on. But we're going to use all of our other little guys that we used earlier. Oh, and we'll need the bow. So if you don't have the Stampin' Up! Acrylic blocks, I highly recommend them. They're the best. And I have a lot of them because I buy the bundle. Okay. Now, speaking of which, Stampin' Up! Sale starts Monday. It's like 40% off a lot of things. I can't remember right off. I feel like adhesive is 25% off. That's going to be a big one for me. I'm going to do some stocking up. All right. We're going to stamp that in the Secret C. So yes, it's a great time to grab some things, and you'll get my free card kit of the month if you spend over 50. We're gonna stamp that little guy up with the cloud cover. Again, this is such a pretty color. Okay. Now we're gonna take the cherry cobbler and we are going to ink up that bow. And I'm going to be honest, the bow doesn't always work out for me. Let's see here. So the best thing to do when you're doing two-step stamping is to find a spot at the top and bottom that are perfect. And most of the times, if you can connect those, you're golden. Now, we're going to do the same thing we did with our first card. We're just going to ink that up and do we're just inking it up with the old olive, and then the pine needles are going to go in Mossy Meadow. I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to cut this paper down just a little bit so it'll fit in my cut and emboss. I do use the mini a lot. Isn't that just pretty? I could make these all day long. Okay, let's give a little cut here. And then we'll be done with all 4 cards. If you've got any questions. Oh, Tuesday, Janet. Thank you. Sale starts Tuesday. Tuesday. I always think I know these things by heart and then I mess them up. All right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up, top and the bottom. And then we're going to die cut that. All right, now next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Happy early Thanksgiving. I think I'm going to go ahead and record this session and just post it Thursday night, because I'll be honest, I don't know what we're going to be doing Thursday. It's still up in the air. That's what happens when you have adult kids. You never know what you're doing. And I just go with the seat, go by the seat of my pants. I think I did cherry cobbler on the sample, but I think I'm going to do Secret C this time with the 'Tis the Season, and it's just on a little strip of basic white. And all right, let's throw this on here. We're going to put about 3 dimensionals on this guy. So yeah, large sale next week. Cyber sale starts Tuesday, goes through the following Monday, December the 1st. So I believe that's on Monday. And now I've pulled that down enough that that's going to, let's do the same thing that I did earlier. Let's cut a couple of these dimensionals up. And we're going to put them directly around the flower where we're going to put that. And then we'll use some seal in the middle. All right, seal in the middle. All right, so there is the final card. Let's add a little bit of bling, because we don't want to let it go without a little bit of bling. Okay, so card kit available till the end of the day tomorrow night with any $50 purchase. And cyber sale next week. And that could earn you a free card kit with next week's cards. So there's the final card. Oh, it's a good thing that's non-directional. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate your watching. Have an amazing holiday. I'll be back here a week from Thursday with another card tutorial. If you've got any questions, give me a shout. Thanks so much.